I wanted to make a video that's just kind of showing how I did MXW22 because there was a lot that went into this, and that's just not me saying it. There is a whole bunch that went into it. Then what I have open is Camtasia because I'm a scrub, and this is what I haven't opened now is the project for, I guess, like the project file for MXW22 Part 1. It's been about 2 weeks since I finished the project and uploaded it on like early, like 2 AM New Year's Day or something like that. But yeah, I just kind of want to explain some of the things that went into it. So over on the left there is I guess the clip bin is called, but like it's basically where everything, like all the raw footage is stored. So at the top here we've got pictures, and these are just some like random screenshots. I don't think some of these are in. Like I don't think this one here is actually in the final video. I know we use this one as a green screen, or we might use this one. So I'm not sure if these two are actually in the video. And then this one is a I think that's in there somewhere. That over here is when Alt is talking about Milky. Oh no, sorry, joining CT with Milky. This one is just a thing as Toadie quitting. This is a Skype chat screenshot, which I actually scrolled back and I just had to take the screenshot. There's not much to it really. It was a lot of scrolling. I know you can do like 6 months back, so I'd do like 6 months and then like manually scroll up another like month or so, I think. And then we'll get into this one a bit later because that's a bit complicated. So we go into the audio. This basically on the script over here. I got one sec. I need to turn something off quickly. Alright. So basically what we have here is the script I was given to work off of by I believe Toadie and K-Man worked on this. I think I edited a couple words at the most. I don't think I changed much at all. But basically underlying stuff is for like the working process, like while we were still making it, showing it where I am and where I am with the edit. So as I went through, I'd like select, underline. So we start off, and I basically, throughout the script there are links to the music, and this is it. So that's Rumble, that's the final Extreme Chaos 2 match. These are K-Man's narration. He just kind of recorded it in one long thing. So like, if you look over here, well, this might lag, but yeah, I just kind of like cut it up, and you can see the cuts and all of that. And then we have, this is like Last Stand and all that. This is Christmas section, and then I actually recorded a lot more lines than the one you hear. I believe I have 2 lines in the thing, like as a commentator, and that's for the Casual Bankrupt, introducing it and like what it is, and then as Alt pins Drix for the title Extreme Chaos 2, I count that. I recorded a lot more. I'm not sure if it's still in the script. It is not, but there was a lot more that I recorded. I remember I recorded stuff for Last Stand. Last Stand was actually meant to be a lot longer, which is something you'll find out about. And it was generally just a lot more I remember I commentated for Gates to Hell for Part 2 when Ultimate turns on Drix, stuff like that. So here we have, it's formatted a bit weirdly. It's just because it's like 1 then 1 0, but over here we have all of Alt's audio. One sec. So we have part 1, and then I actually don't need a lot of these, because when we were going to make the doc, it was just going to be one long video. And when I got to about Extreme Chaos 2, I'm like, okay, this is roughly 19 minutes long. And I could like judge by the match that it was going to be around 19 to 20 minutes. I'm like, are people going to realistically watch another half a documentary after that? So I'm like, if I split it into two, then one, because we were behind schedule already, because it was late, and I was like, you know, I'm just going to get this out for Christmas. So I have all these things in there that just aren't meant to be there. When you see part two, it's a lot more organised in the way that I've set this all out, because here we just got everything, but I only actually need half this. Then this is a song like after I'll join CT, all of that, and this is just my audio for the Ultimate Cash-In. Okay, so here we have all the video, and there is a lot of it. So this file is used at the start of Leave Out All the Rest. It's basically something that I recorded all the way back, like right after the Rumble, where I originally planned to make a WWE 24 style documentary on Mr. Love and him winning the Rumble. In retrospect, that would have been really good, because you see his rise all the way to the top and then he loses it right at the end. But yeah, I recorded this random B-roll of Dragon Stadium when it was all set up, and I just thought, I still have this on my computer, I may as well use it. And then this is, I don't know exactly what this is, but it's basically some of the shots that I recorded after the fact. I imagine one of these is out walking into Execution 2017, and or Alt coming out of the Rumble. I'd like to thank Ash, Scott, Link. I used Ash a lot, I know, but thanks to them for /D'ing for me. Also, Alt stood in for himself, but I guess that's not /D, is it? Here we have Drix versus Alt. If you're wondering why the file name is just DrixV, it's because it's a question mark, but when you're downloading the file, that doesn't come through. Fun fact. So yeah, K-Man recorded this because my Wi-Fi got turned off halfway through the match. It was like midnight or something by that point. So here we have a video I produced, I guess made, more like, roughly less than a week before XC, basically to, I wanted there to be media of Love getting injured. I believe Tony and Kev did it for me. But yeah, I remember /D was broken at the time, so if you see when I go right up close to Mr. Love, it says Tony 14 FTW above it. So yeah, and then you see all of these videos. These are all just straight up ripped from FF's channel with a website. Pretty good website, because I could basically select which parts I wanted. So I went and selected the entrance, and I got that. And all of this. So this is all FF stuff. And then I think this is a video I made, because after XC I wanted to kind of like split it up and release certain parts. So I think there's like Drix's entrance is a separate video, Drix's opponent is a separate video, and this is where I got that from. And then this video, right, so I guess I'm going to go into this now. Basically, Toadie was supposed to edit this video, and I think we gave him like a week and a half just to work on it. We heard nothing, so like we didn't really say anything, and then I think it was midway through the week before XC, so like December 13th, 14th, 12th, something like that. And I think I remember being on the server, and like Matty was just like, Toadie's edited none of MXW 22 so far, and I'm like, okay then. But I remember basically, I think earlier that week, before we found out that he hadn't actually done anything, he was like, if anyone can help me, I need this bit. And one of these bits was, where is it? It's just this bit. So clips show matches and moments heading into Execution 2016. And of course, there is not a lot of footage from those parts. There is basically a couple videos. There's like 2 KOs. I guess it all starts about like Road to Victory time, when videos actually started, but I took these like really early on. So like I took from like Heatwave, KO just like randomly after Heatwave, and I'm not really sure, but I think it was all pre-brand split stuff actually. But yeah, I went and edited that in Sony Vegas. It took me like an afternoon for that, and this isn't much. It's the bit where I use, because Misera Cantar, I don't know how to say it really because it's a weird word, but where is it? Is it this? No, it's here. Okay, so this part, right? Like with, I say how I usually got video links. For this one I didn't, I just put that in, really. So I picked the music and I just set it to it, and I just did a couple entrances. It took me about an afternoon because I was spending a lot of time, and it was Sony Vegas, which I'm not used to. Which is why when I was dealing with Toadie not doing anything, instead of going to Sony Vegas, where I probably wouldn't be still done now on like the 15th of January, I went to Camtasia because I've just edited a lot of videos there, and I know it inside and out, so I can just quickly put it together and put it together well, which I like to think that happened. Okay, Toadie.mp4. So midway through the project, I'm just like, Toadie, send me what you have, whatever that is, and eventually sends it to me. And basically any shot that you see in the dock with shaders, that's what Toadie did, because my laptop is terrible, it can barely record, and yeah, it's pretty good. So then some of these files I named, like this alt post rumble, which is XE2. I think these are the two clips where he's like looking out the hotel window, looking into Access. We actually couldn't look into US Bank, and you'll notice that because it was set up for Indiepocalypse, and the color scheme really didn't work. I know Toadie, when we show the shot of Milky right at the start of part 2, he had some shots that were further out, but because all the scroll boards were green, it looked off. And of course we couldn't really play that off because Alt's colours weren't like green, so it didn't really work, did it? And then this is something I made in like, it took me like an hour, and it was because Matty was like on the Skype chat, someone make an XE trailer, because I think he said he might put money into it or something like that. I can't remember. I don't think he did in the end. I mean, not that I'm not like shaming him for that, but it's just like a fade to fade to fade of all the matches, then an end screen of the logo and like the date and the IP. It's not much. I use it like when we get into XE2 time, just to show all the matches. And this one's just him entering Execution this year. I think Scott was there, and then you have Ash in the corner. So yeah, we get into this. At the start, we just have this fade, and like, it's just the music building up, really. What you'll notice, if I click on audio, there will be a lot of these kind of like green points, and that's because I made the audio fade in and out a lot, and made it like get louder and get quieter. I guess that's crescendo, if you know anything about music, which sadly I do. So yeah, around here, I really wanted to make it peak when he gets the case, which I think if I go right to where he gets the case, you see in chat the MXW Championship briefcase, and it's like right at the top, so it's a big moment. And so yeah, I was basically working along, and one thing that I want to point out is this, right? Because there is a lot going on here that is just way too hard to understand. So if we have a look, we go all the way back up to pictures, we look, so for context, right, at this point I didn't have much from Toadie, and he was the only one that could green screen, right? So I looked up in our Discord chat for MXW production, and like a couple guys are in there. I think it's like Matty, I know we added Rich, but that wasn't at this point. We added, like, he's in there now, but he wasn't in there while we were doing MXW 22. Spade was in there, and then he like quit and stuff. I think Link made the thumbnail. I'm not actually sure. Spade might have made it, but he's not around to criticise me for it, so I guess Link made it. And yeah, so basically all I had was this screenshot, and it's been green screened out, which I can show you right here. So this is the original set. We have a little production HQ. Like, I believe I moved the yeah, if you look over here, I actually moved the No Limit set here, and then here's a thing that you probably shouldn't see yet. There's interview show, which I think K-Man's gonna do, but he hasn't done it yet, and I don't see him doing it. So this is a set. I don't know who made it. Let's have a look. K-Man made it. Fun fact. So we have this like green thing, and of course, since I can't do it because I don't have the base photo of this background, I had to kind of put alt right in front of this redstone block, and you can see here, right? If you look right at the bottom, I'll try to zoom this in for you. If you look right at the bottom of this picture, you can see a blue line, and that's Windows Media Player. So that's what Toad uses to watch videos. So yeah, what you have here is, if you zoom in, you can see bits of white. Now that's because I had to use this picture and try and green screen. Now if you look, I messed it up because this block here, you can see, has a shadow cast on it. And I was constrained for space because for some reason I did this like backstage at BC Place, like a week before execution. So it's just like, what am I doing here really? So I ended up splitting it in, and then you get these like little bits. Like you'll notice here when it says group 1, 4 clips, that's 4 pictures that have just been like all put together, and I had to cover this redstone block. It worked. So yeah. So then if we go right to the fade, and then if we go like midway through to the fade, you can actually see this redstone block. If you look behind alt, if I do click that, you can see it. But yeah, so then next up we put in this dragon b-roll. So we come to around the point of let's get to last stand. Okay, so there are a number of things that didn't go to plan. Here's the first thing, right? So we go, this is Christmas, and then okay, here, this is where Leave Out All the Rest by Linkin Park starts, right? Now if you notice, we don't get another song until basically the end of the Rumble. So oh wait, no, sorry, not just before the Rumble. So we have to go all the way from Retribution, which is 2 months of content, and they've got, I don't know, like a page here. So time lapse of Dragon Stadium, I think that's a Toady shot, and then narrator, that's K-Man. Alt arriving and preparing, I think I cut that out because Toady gave me like one shot to use, and I think I used it in part 2. Then Alt explains how he feels backstage. I don't think he's backstage, I think it's just over some shots really. So this is, so this is from basically the pyro of the first KO of 2017, which is at Dragon Stadium. And so music starts playing. I didn't really, in hindsight, I should have started it there, but then I think the reason that I didn't is there's a lot of just blank space here, right? So that doesn't really work. There is, I think, a couple parts where I do use just talking over no music. I think I know for sure one's when, because I'll talk for like 3 minutes about joining CT, and then like 2 minutes or something when he left. So it was just a really long time. Like I was gonna put Shakedown, the score, over him joining CT, but then it like used up all the song. It wasn't worth it. So we have him talking about he won't be at KO, and then progressing through early 2017. This is this bit. This is the KO from February 4th, and then we have him here with the case. Then week after, I believe this is from. Oh, that's lagging a lot. Okay, I need to wait. Right, it's caught up. So February 11th, we have Saints attack him, and then we fade into Last Stand, right? At this point, I believe this is the last chorus here. So we really couldn't do anything after this. And you see this bit that I haven't underlined because I didn't do it. So Alt goes up to Toad by ring before the show and says he would like to cash in if he retains his briefcase against Saints. So first of all, I think we didn't have a shot from it. Second of all, I couldn't just go back to Seaway because that was set up for Lone Survivor, and I think it still is. So then Toad tells Alt he will talk to Milky. So there's a number of things, right, that this doesn't really work. First of all, Alt's recorded all of his audio. Alt's recorded all of his audio, and he doesn't say this at any point. So that's fine. And I think I actually asked him to do it. He never did it, but that doesn't make him a bad guy. Don't like talk down anyone for not doing stuff. So yeah, so Alt needs to say this. Then we need a line from Toad here, and I'm thinking, where are we going to get this from? So first of all, we have no audio. Second of all, we have no visual either. So we essentially have nothing for this. And like there were parts where I could just record something or add in music. So shots of the matches before Alt. Realistically, I could have done this, but as I say, we were running out of time on the song, and I wanted to keep it fine. Alt getting ready backstage, it was unneeded. We basically skipped out this entire part. We do show Alt beating Saints once, and that's in the final montage. I know that because I downloaded the video while making the final montage, and I couldn't put it in because at that point part 1 was already out. So then we're supposed to show Alt in Gorilla watching Bust vs Rug, and of course Toad tells Alt that he's cashing in, right? And then round about here, right, I did, so first of all, that's another Toad line that we don't have, and then I actually, I did Skype Bust, and I asked him, I know it was very late, I think it was 23rd or something, and I was like, hey man, do you want to, record this line for me? I think he said alright, and then he never got back to me, which is completely fine, because it was very late, and it was like almost Christmas, so I don't blame him. So I just had to kind of like scrap this bit. If I was kind of waiting for Bust to do this. Like if I wasn't, then I would have just put it here. I assume just like lengthened this or like slowed down this clip of the Seaway exterior. Okay, so at this point we get to the Rumble. Oop. Nope, that's not it. This is it. Yep. Okay, so we're at the Rumble. Now, it all kind of goes well from here. Like, this part, which I thought was amazing, is that basically, if I just barely trimmed K-Man a bit, so just making sure that, like, the bits where you weren't talking was just right, then it works perfectly so that it kicks in right as, like, the pyro hits, right as, like, the main, like, riff kicks in on the music. So we have all of this, and then there is a problem with the without getting eliminated, because basically what Alt and Matty did is Matty came in, I believe, number 1, and this was just after 30. If you look in the chat, you can see people ranting that Milky is number 30, and so Matty's been knocked out by Alt, and then what happens is FF, who's just about starting his feud with Matty, he goes into Survival, goes to hit him with the title, but as this happens, Nev knocks out Alt. So the idea is that Matty gets knocked out, and then Alt's like, oh my god, I did it, and then he gets knocked out, which is a fine spot, but something that slightly messed it up was FF going into Survival, and then, which is why we kind of fade out as he attacks Matty there. So that was just like a minor problem, to be honest. It was completely workaround. Like, we could work around that, and we did. So then, I got my buddy Ash, and I got him to shift and beat out and just kind of walk. I actually thought he was going to stop when he was about here, which is why I zoom in. Sorry. I forget that lags because bad computer. So I think he's going to stop around here, and which is why I zoom in. And he does stop a bit, and he starts moving again. So I'm like, okay, Ash, what are you doing? And then he keeps moving, so I kind of have to move with him. And then eventually we end up almost, like, you can see the lighting kind of start to come in. And you can literally see, like, the entrance of Dragon, which is why I tilt the camera away from it. So yeah, we got very close to completely messing that up. Okay, so we have this part where Alt talks about how he feels at that point in the year, and I thought, like, what does it say to do? I think it's this bit, to be honest. Okay, yeah, it's this bit, I think. So I could use Alt coming to Gorilla, but it's like, what am I gonna do? And I think Gorilla was set up for Heatwave, and I mean, it wouldn't have mattered, but I think the more Gorilla shots you have, it's just the same thing over and over again. And knowing me being in a rush, I would have reused the same shots, and that doesn't look as good. So I guess I did that. Time lapse on the MXW HQ. This turned into just a picture. Yeah, this picture. I don't know if this made it in actually. I know it did for a slight bit. I think at one point, instead of this picture of Alt, which is just a NPC, I had just that picture. So yeah, good times. So yeah, I use these. I reuse the shot of him getting his case or finding out what the case is. You will never see the actual Casual Bankrupt match in MXW22. You'll see the entrances, you'll see who got what case, but you'll never see the match because, of course, FF's in the match and FF's recording the match. And when Alt gets his case, I think there was a bit of a thing over who got FF's case. I think it was like FF broke it, and then the block dropped and Ruck got it. So it was like, they were like, Ruck, give it back, and then FF ended up having it. But while this is all going on, Alt grabs his case. So the shot is like terrible when you're looking for Alt grabbing a case. So yeah, then we have him talk about all of this. This is just his audio. At this point, fade in this picture of Stripe. If you look really close here, you can see Saints saying, "Let's go Cyber." I don't know. Yeah, that shows up barely in the recording, I think. So then we reach XC. We're almost at the end of part 1, by the way. So I kind of recorded these shots with Ash. I think he suggested a couple of these, and I thought this was really good. The reason why I zoom out so far here is to get the Extreme Chaos 2 on the Access building all the way in. So like, I just about see it, and then there's that one block in the way, which in hindsight I could have just broken. But well, and then this shot was too fast, so I slowed it down, I think. Yes, I slowed it down to half speed. So yeah, so this is his first XC as owner, and then talk about the injury, and Drix is left with no opponent. So we go to here, which is where a fight kicks in, and then we have all of this. So at this point, I'm at the end of the match, and I'm like, because if you look at Camtasia now, it's very laggy, and not just because my computer's terrible. Well, partly it is, but mainly because there was so much stuff. Like, I didn't really do like a full match breakdown, which I guess is what I call this, just spot to spot to spot. In part 1, I did this one match, just Strix versus Alt, and then I think I did 2 or 3 in part 2. I did let me think. I'm forgetting now. I did Heatwave, I did Gates to Hell, and I did Hardcore Havoc and his title defense like 2 weeks before. So that's 4 matches. So yeah, we have all of this. I didn't really have the chance to like track it to points in the on the beat or things like that. In hindsight, I should have. But yeah, that's just kind of what happened. So then we get to right to the end. I think this part is a continuous shot, but I split it because I split at the button, and then he pins 1, 2, 3. Then that's me calling it. Then I got K-Man to record this line. It's actually not in the script. If I go to end of part 1, there's no K-Man line here. That's because we realised it was the end of part 1. And I'm like, K-Man, say something like, the best is yet to come, or something like that. And he's like, the fuck are you on? And I'm like, just do it. So yeah, and then we do this, and then we do end of part 1. So that's essentially it, I suppose. Yeah. This... Oh yeah, I also edited so it was exactly 19 minutes and 30 seconds. I just did that, really. I know with part 2 it is not exact. But yeah, that's pretty much all there was to it. Which, when I look back, I shouldn't have taken so long on it. But yeah, that happened. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.